Now we end one year at SIOP, and we begin a new one. This includes the passing of the ceremonial gavel, and along with it, the title of SIOP President to our new president, Dr. Talya Bauer. Talya. Dr. Bauer is the Cameron Professor of Management at Portland State University. She's worked with dozens of government, Fortune 1000, and startup organizations, and has been a visiting scholar in France, Spain, and at Google headquarters in Mountain View, California. Her prolific research has been supported by grants from NSF, NIH, as well as the SIOP and SHRM foundations. She's published more than 70 refereed journal publications at the Journal of Applied Psychology, Journal of Management, Personnel Psychology, and other top-tier outlets. She also has co-authored not one, not two, but 6 books and over 50 book chapters. A fellow of SIOP, APA, and APS, Talya's award-winning work has been widely covered in the popular press. She's a scientist practitioner who studies relationships at work and how they influence individual and organizational effectiveness through the processes of recruitment, selection, onboarding, training, and leadership. She earned her PhD from Purdue University. Please give a warm welcome to SIOP President Talya Bauer.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you for an amazing year and really a career of dedication to SIOP. We have appreciated your team approach to everything you've done, and we have something for you. But wait, there's more. So, hard to see, but I think, there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That is so awesome.
All right, can we get the slides again? Thank you. All right, so for those of you who weren't here for the opening plenary, Fred likes Scrabble. So I wanted to spend just a few minutes to close this out here to talk about science for a smarter workplace. I'm sure everyone in the room knows that the vision of SIOP is, and could recite by heart, to be recognized as the premier professional group committed to advancing the science and practice of the psychology of work. And not only that, but I bet everyone in the room could tell us our 4 strategic goals. Number 1, to become the premier and trusted authority on work-related human behavior. Number 2, to increase the awareness and use of IO psychology. Number 3, to meet the needs of those engaged in the science and practice of IO psychology throughout their careers. And to model and reinforce the effective integration of science and practice. And I think we spent several days doing these things, but I'd like to spend the next year doing them every day of the year as well. So I'm going to share 3 example projects of things that we'll be working on, and hopefully we'll be back here next year to talk about each of those. I'll have a foundational work example, translational work example, and some ambassador work. Here it goes. First one is one that we've been talking about for as long as I've been a member of SIOP, I think. Getting IO content to be included in Intro to Psychology textbooks. So to go after it, I've created the GET task force. And lucky for us, we have amazing SIOP members who see needs and step up and are willing to work on them. So Joe Allen has agreed to chair this task force. Georgia Chow is willing to join us, along with Nicholas Salter, Jennifer Gibson, and Debbie Diaz-Granados. And so all of them are very well poised for this. They've done great work on the educational and training, developing IO psychology materials, and Georgia's been leading the charge at APA to really get them thinking about this issue as well. We're also happy that Mickey Hebel has agreed to serve as a consultant based on all the work that she's done over the years on this topic. So, in case you think I'm delusional, I do not think that we will get this done in a year. Many have tried before. What's different, I think, is that we all go in knowing that. We're looking at a 2, a 5, and a 10-year plan We have a 7-prong attack from the side, from the top, from the bottom. And the idea is to really just concentrate the effort, which leads me to my last point. The last member of the task force is all of you. So in the next year, when we ask you to volunteer just a little bit of your time to do almost what I would call a micro-volunteer opportunity, an hour or two, we hope that you'll rise to the call. The second task force that I'm looking at in terms of translation is the Science Practice Opportunities for Translation, or the SPOT task force. And here we have another group of people who immediately said yes and got excited. So Julie McCarthy is willing to chair the committee. Paul Thorson, whom you may not know, is incoming electronics communication chair for SIOP, has agreed. Frederick Ann Seal, who's the EOOP president. Shauna Waters at Better Up, who maybe you've seen her at one of the many translation sessions that she gave this conference. Eduardo Salas, who's the living embodiment of science and practice, hand in hand, and translating that, even as he's designing the work, has agreed to be on the task force. Catherine Dekas, who does this work every day at Google as part of the Pi Lab, internally and externally translating. Elizabeth McCune at Microsoft, who's incoming program chair in training, which means that next year she'll be working on the theme track. And so she's ex officio being part of how can we really embed this into the DNA. And then Lorenzo Galli, who's the founder of Science for Work. And if you haven't looked them up, they do a great job of translating things and getting everyone, not just IO psychologists, excited about our work. So I'm excited for the work. We've already met once, and you'll be hearing more. Again, this work is bubbling everywhere. People have been doing a lot of it. How do we collate it? How do we figure out to take it to the next level? And how do we ask all of you, crowdsourcing, what should we work on first? Then the ambassador is the IO Roadshow. So I had this idea that what if we just started, again, we've been talking for years, how do we get more people to know about IO psychology? How about we go out and talk to them one by one by one? And if that pilot goes well, let's amplify that. Let's go 10 by 10, 100 by 100, 1,000 by 1,000. So in February, I had an opportunity while I was in Houston to talk to our great SIOP members at NASA and say, what should we be doing? What do we do more of? How do you do it? How can we partner more? I was invited to go to the simulator lab, seeing astronauts being trained, getting to go inside the Space Center. So fun for me, but also an opportunity to talk more about the IOs they have there and what issues they might have in the future. Also, besides NASA, while we were there, Fred and I had a chance to talk to wonderful SIOP members at the Veterans Affairs, at Quintella, and some people that don't have any IO psychologists. And the more that I talk to people, the more apparent it is that this is really a model. And then if we amplify this, every conversation was different, but it was positive, and you meet people where they are in their interests, and it's exciting what we can do together. So every time I'm somewhere for a conference, for a meeting, this year my schedule will be Chicago 3 times, DC, Montreal, New York, Portland, San Francisco, Seattle, and Turin, Italy. I'll be tagging on a few days on either side so that I can have more of these conversations. So if you have ideas for people I should be talking to, let me know. I think every conversation is going to be different. It might be presenting to HR execs. It might be talking to people who are IO psychologists already. And it might be anything else. So I'm open to what this might evolve into and then coming back with a prototype for all of us. And then there's Team SIOP. Boy, what a year. So this is thinking about the embodiment of Fred's idea around this. I think it really gave us a nomenclature for what we do naturally, but it helped us celebrate what we do well together. And so here you see the outgoing trio, Mort and Fred and I, and the incoming trio with Eden, Fred and I. And it just, the amount of giving that these people have done in the last year and throughout their careers, and having fun while they're doing it has been wonderful. And ditto for the executive board, people who come together 3 times a year but are working pretty much every day on behalf of SIOP and the 10,000 members. So it just got me thinking, and Fred made a joke about this last year, maybe that he'd recycle Mort's tagline for the day. But, excuse me. So then the administrative office. It's hard to talk about Team SIOP without talking about the AO. Those of us who've known these people for, as long as we've been SIOP members, it's just professional, well done. Thank you. All right, thank you. So looking backwards, Team SIOP, I kind of gave away my punchline, I'm sorry. But I believe in reduce, reuse, recycle, and I'm going to keep it for another year. I think it served us well, and let's keep playing with it for another year and see where it takes us. But in addition, I'd like to celebrate all of you, and I wanted to think of a theme, something that actually comes, when I think about what I love about SIOP and why I come back year after year after year, it's every individual. It's the idea that we're all so different, but we're also passionate about making work better. That is our unifying principle. So I've come up with the theme of I Am SIOP, which we unveiled a little bit around the conference, and I wanted to share an example, again, of just how amazing the members of SIOP are and how you make this a wonderful place. So it says don't press the button, but
I'm a faculty researcher at Baylor College of Medicine and the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center in Houston, Texas.
I am an executive recruiting leader. I am an author.
I am a graduate student at Rice University. I am a tennis player. I am a big sister.
I am an external consultant. I'm a husband and a proud father. I also dabble in social media.
I answer the phones at SIOP. I'm a gourmet cook and love to dance.
I'm a creative, equally at home designing accessories as I am at connecting ideas in I/O.
I'm a vice dean at King's College London. I'm a fan of Roy Orbison.
I'm an assistant professor at University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I'm a diversity scholar.
I've been the IT manager for SIOP for the last 20 years. I collect things.
I am a member of the Houston Symphony Chorus.
I'm an avid motorcycle enthusiast, at least when the weather allows here in Minnesota.
I am an education researcher.
I am passionate about establishing and applying best practices to help organizations hire executive leaders.
I'm soon to become an academic.
I am a champion of social justice.
I am a bridge between IAO psychology and healthcare.
I am EWA. I am SIOP.
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 And I am SIOP.
I am SIOP. I am SIOP. I am SIOP.
the next runner-up for a theme was SIOP Strong, and I don't know about you, but I feel it. So thank you.